described to her my theories about women and value. I explained how poorly I'd advocated for myself over the course of my career, and what I'd learned recently about how I could have earned so much more. Not just more money, but more recognition for my contributions, and how I had talked to so many successful women who admitted to floundering the same way. I realized immediately that I'd hit a nerve. She said, "You have to write this book. This is important. This is the next part of the conversation. Even more, this book is in you. You have to write it. It's so important." Her eyes locked in, dead serious. And then she proceeded to tell me all about the White House Council on Women and Girls and its effort for National Equal Pay Day, the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, the Paycheck Fairness Act, and all the studies they had underway. She told me the administration had people at every level dealing with women's issues, whether it be access to capital or the gender wage gap. Valerie not only urged me to write the book, she said, "I'll help you. What can I do? We've gotten really far. Women run the world, but we're not getting our value." Valerie Jarrett was an inspiration to me and a catalyst for this project. What really was just a casual visit had taken a dramatic turn, and I walked out of her office knowing I was going to write this book. I realized that if my story spoke to Valerie, then it certainly would speak to others. Fast forward to 2017. The world is a different place. Soon after his inauguration, Donald Trump invited me and Joe Scarborough to Sunday lunch at the White House. I could see immediately how swept up he was in his new job. Instead of feeling the weight of responsibility that any sane leader would feel upon his shoulders, Trump was like a kid in a candy shop who was giddy with his new surroundings. He's gone. What few guardrails he allowed to be put up during the campaign are completely gone now. He is about to get worse than ever, Joe had observed after talking with him on inauguration night. Before the White House lunch, Ivanka Trump and I discussed the importance of getting the new president to focus on the kind of women's issues that I had worked on with Valerie Jarrett throughout the Obama administration. Because it was so difficult to get Donald Trump to focus on any topic that did not feed directly into his ego, Ivanka and I discussed strategies to break through Trump's flurry of self-aggrandizing stories and fog of disinterest. After lunch, I stood up to go look at the desserts as an excuse to interrupt his constant droning on about his election win, the record size of his inaugural crowd, and how great his first week in the White House had been. Of course, his first week was not great, and the crowd at his inauguration a week earlier was far smaller than Barack Obama's. The fact that Joe and I had already pointed out both of those facts to him probably did nothing to put our relationship back on positive footing, but I wasn't done trying. As I got up and moved toward a side table, I turned around and said, "Donald, we need to talk about women's issues." "What?" the president said. "We need to talk about women's issues." "Huh?" "Women, Donald, women, you know." I then motioned with my arms an hourglass figure in the air to relate the topic to a man who clearly did not have a clue and did not care about the issues I had been discussing with Ivanka. "Donald, I said women." I felt dirty making the hourglass motion, but it was the only way to get this misogynist to understand the word. Ivanka leaned forward. Trump responded by looking at Ivanka condescendingly. "Oh yeah, women. Yeah, honey, yeah, we will get to that." Just as quickly, he moved on to talk about his travel ban. I glanced over at the president's daughter, who looked deflated as the conversation veered off to extreme vetting. It was clear that the man who spent years running beauty pageants and talking about women mainly in the context of their physical features was never going to see females as anything more than sex objects to rate on Howard Stern's show, or as the subject of locker room talk. Not long after this lunch, the President of the United States would be attacking my looks via Twitter, accusing me of meeting with him while bleeding badly from a facelift. It was a ludicrous tweet. The social media universe rose up to defend me, but I wasn't upset, until I remembered that Trump was quoted in the original Know Your Value, talking about how much he valued women. Clearly,